So before I start huffing all my copium today, I want to make it very clear that I am not a fan of Ubisoft Quebec as a studio. I do not respect them creatively. I do not respect them financially. I don't see them as anything other than misguided, and of course I'm talking about their upper management, not the individual developers. And I want to make it very clear that at a personal level, as a fan, as someone who enjoys video games, and as someone who likes studying business, it's just not a respectable studio. I think that they've completely misunderstood what Assassin's Creed is, at least to me, as a fan with 200 subscribers. I think that they've completely misunderstood what Assassin's Creed is. I think they don't respect the franchise or even like it. I think that every time they've made a game or have had any creative input, they seem to mock the franchise and not really take it as seriously as I think it should be taken. And overall, I think that they've been a source of creative bankruptcy for the franchise and have sold the identity of the franchise in exchange for a better bottom line for Ubisoft as a whole, and at the cost of player enjoyment, because the way they've increased that bottom line is through very scammy business tactics. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, Assassin's Creed Red is the next Assassin's Creed game coming probably this October or this November, and it's going to be mainly developed by Ubisoft Quebec. At first, when I heard this, I was like, okay, they've just butchered the game already. I'm not looking forward to playing it at all. However, this year and the recent news about how Ubisoft is starting to coordinate studios to work together has made me wonder if perhaps AC Red could be the true savior of AC that we've been hoping to get. I know we say, this game or that game saved AC or AC is back, but I don't think AC Mirage, just because it was a good Assassin's Creed game, means that Assassin's Creed is back. And I don't think that AC Nexus for sure doesn't mean that Assassin's Creed is back. A good AC game in a vacuum doesn't mean anything. What would really entail Assassin's Creed being back is a company-wide, franchise-wide shift towards being an Assassin's Creed game first and a historical fantasy game second. It would be understanding that people want stealth-based games, or at least games with a very well-developed stealth system. Games that prioritize an assassin storyline where the main characters are assassins, they're hunting down Templars, and are going through a story that you would expect from a game titled Assassin's Creed. And I think that AC Red might just be this game. If I think about it logically, or at least systematically, maybe the logic is flawed and you can let me know. Ubisoft Quebec has clearly got very little interest in purposefully making a true Assassin's Creed experience. However, because of the conditions surrounding this game, mainly that it's set in feudal Japan, I think that just by convenience alone, they might end up making a traditional, faithful Assassin's Creed game. For me, Ubisoft Quebec is a studio that is mostly interested in telling a story within an interesting historical setting, whether that's revolutionary London with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, or whether that's ancient Greece with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, in both those games, there wasn't really the ripe environment to tell a true Assassin's Creed story. AC Syndicate was arguably too modern and had too many whimsical creative decisions made at the beginning of the game that really didn't make sense, and they were creatively lambasted by AC Unity failing, so they were forced to strip back controls and make everything too easy, or rather too restricted. And obviously AC Odyssey was set before the Assassins or even before the Hidden Ones, so there was no chance they were ever going to make an Assassin's Creed centric story. However, if you look at feudal Japan, it's exactly at the right time you would want an Assassin's Creed game set in, and it's in a country that historically and in pop culture is associated with things like stealth, ninjas, samurais, and everything that you would kind of describe an assassin as to someone who doesn't really know what an assassin is. From the two main characters that have been rumored to be leading this story, it seems like they are going to be actual members of the Assassin Brotherhood, and it seems like they are going to have a focus on stealth or assassin-like combat if they are focusing on combat. It seems like the story is going to lead to a Templar assassin story, especially if the characters are assassins themselves, and it's a game set in feudal Japan. So imagine this, and I know we're huffing all the copium right now, but imagine that Ubisoft Quebec, known for making technically good games, releases a polished Assassin's Creed experience that is narratively led by Ubisoft Montreal, which is the studio that has been behind most of the Assassin's Creed games in the past before AC Syndicate. If the narrative is led by Montreal, which Ubisoft has said is what's going to be happening, and the game design and the post-launch design, which Quebec is objectively better at, is being handled by them, you can have the best of both worlds in an Assassin's Creed game that is faithful to the franchise, that is faithful to the Assassin fantasy, that is set in one of the most popular and most demanded time periods of all time. Think of the financial implications of setting a game in feudal Japan. This isn't just a small, mildly interesting, niche historical context like, for example, Baghdad with AC Mirage. Not that many people are interested in going to Baghdad, so only passionate AC fans were going to buy AC Mirage. But if you sell a game set in feudal Japan, even fans that aren't obsessed with Assassin's Creed are going to buy that game and play that game. And if during that playthrough they also realize that assassins are cool, because maybe they forgot or never knew, that Assassin's Creed does have unique lore, an interesting and unique IP that people can sink their teeth into. It could generate so many more fans and finally communicate to Ubisoft that there is a demand for Assassin's Creed and the Assassin's Creed IP, that it could set a new precedent where Ubisoft actually finally realizes what they have on their hands and decides to double down on the Assassin's Creed part of Assassin's Creed after a decade of waiting. The reason why I think this could happen is because it's already on the way there. Assassin's Creed Mirage and Assassin's Creed Nexus, both in their marketing and the execution of their game development, have shown that they really do want to have an Assassin's Creed game, and in the marketing they always talk about the 3 pillars of combat, stealth, and parkour. So Ubisoft seems to already be moving in that direction, wanting to separate Assassin's Creed apart from other franchises and make it a little bit more unique. And if they double down on it one more time with AC Red, which is financially going to be an absolute bombshell of a game, it could lead to Ubisoft thinking, okay, this has worked, people do like Assassins, we can make successful games that are stealth based or stealth facing with an Assassin's Creed storyline and still be successful, which is what I think Ubisoft believed that they couldn't do. So even though this is extremely unlikely, part of me does believe that Assassin's Creed could be saved by AC Red if all the stars align, because it could be the game that kind of satisfies what everyone wants, which is the AC fans wanting an AC game and the historical fantasy fans wanting a historical fantasy. Of course, I don't know how the stealth is going to look like, I don't know how the parkour is going to look like, and I don't know if we are going to have an Assassin's Creed centric story. But it seems like from the leaks that half of these things might be compelling, like the stealth and the story, and we can only hope for what parkour they come up with and what kind of city design they come up with in between what is inevitably going to be a vast and empty landscape. And again, when they're designing a vast and empty landscape, it can be very well designed like AC Origins, or it can be very badly designed like AC Odyssey. So we'll just have to see if they can stick the landing. They've been developing this game for many years. It seems like Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft Quebec have been working together on this, and it's coming at a time where Ubisoft seems to have been synthesizing and communicating to the public what Assassin's Creed is, which they haven't done in a long time. So I'm just hoping that maybe AC Red can be the game to shift Ubisoft's belief about Assassin's Creed, remind them that Assassins are cool, and kind of lean into that. And if you want to watch a video where I go further into why Ubisoft made a mistake by thinking that Assassins aren't cool, you can watch this video now.